Good afternoon. Welcome. Excuse me. Welcome to the John Gaunt podcast. Here's your question. Are all MPs self-serving pigs with their snouts in the trough? I've been holding a survey today. Well, what kind of survey? It's not that scientific. On Twitter and on Facebook, and I'll give you the results soon. And they surprised me. The question was, are all MPs self-serving pigs? And the answers could be yes, no, most of them. There were three options on the poll. I'll tell you the results in a moment, but let's have your opinion on this. Because ever since Robert Jenrick defected to the Conservatives, and now there's all this other talk about, oh, what Labour person is it? The mainstream media are obsessed. This is all bullshit. It's all showbiz. And in fact, I now definitely agree with the adage that politics is just showbiz for old people. Why do I say that? Not for old people, ugly people. Why do I say this? Well, I spent nearly 30 years in radio and television green rooms, basically doing that thing where you go from one studio to another and you're a gob on a stick and you give your opinion, particularly when I was writing for The Sun. And while I've been in these green rooms, I've watched politicians when they think the public isn't looking. On camera, they shout, they posture, and they pretend to hate each other. Off camera, they laugh, they joke, they slap backs, mock the voters they claim to represent, and then go for lunch together. Don't believe me? Well, I'll tell you all about it today, because this proves what the problem is with Westminster. It's stuffed full of self-serving pigs with their snouts in the trough. Jenrick is the absolute personification of this. He's only gone to reform to keep his pathetic political career going. If he stayed being a Tory MP in Newark, he wasn't going to get elected. I don't want people like that to represent me. I want people who have got courage, conviction, not convictions, and passion. Tell me what you think. So I'm going to ask a very simple question through this broadcast that the mainstream media won't touch. Are MPs genuinely public servants, i.e. working for us, or is politics just showbiz for ugly people? And when I say ugly, I mean ugly in every sense of the word. Amoral, corrupt, self-serving, only interested in themselves, not interested in you. So I'm not here to protect them. I'm just here to tell you what I've seen. Then you decide, are they self-serving pigs or not? This is the John Gaunt podcast. Now, it's interesting I'm talking about this today because the bloke from Reform, Zia Youssef, posted this today on X. Have a listen. As someone who entered politics 18 months ago, I've been shocked at just how pally and cosy politicians are from legacy parties, i.e. the Tories, the Lib Dems, etc., with each other in the green rooms. It's telling. They laugh at how informed they think voters are. They catch up like old friends. They then go onto the panels and pretend to oppose each other. This is the words of Zia Youssef from Reform UK. This is why nothing changes, whether people vote Tory or Labour. They're globalist, open borders, Britain-hating traitors. Which is why they post stuff like this from the BBC, who, of course, are in the same boat. Zia finishes saying, I find it sickening. They are the establishment. They must be cleared out. Soon they will be. And then he puts up a picture from Laura Kunsberg's show this morning of, what's that dreadful woman used to be on Sky News, Kay Burley. It's also got Tracy Brabin in, who's the mayor for West Yorkshire. I could tell you some, I will do later in the programme. I knew her when she was an actress. She's got the best acting role of her life now, She said today, oh, yes, I've been to economic forums. She's only been to one, and she shouldn't have gone to that. She went as a guest of Bloomberg. Anyway, I'll come on to that in a moment. So then there's a picture of them all in this, and Zia's putting the boot in. And Laura's in the picture as well. And it's what I've always said. They're all too cozy to each other. They are always cozying up. I'll never forget the first time when I came to London to work on BBC London, I interviewed Ken Livingstone and Steve Shagger Norris. Do you remember him? He wanted to be the mayor of London. Ken beat him quite comprehensively. But I had him in the studio, and I must have been like the naive country boy, even though I'd won all these awards, coming in from Luton and Coventry, because these two went at it hammer and tongs. And then and it was a bit uncomfortable being like the host. And then as soon as it came to an end, one of them, I can't remember which one it was, said to the other, oh, are you going back to the house, i.e. the Commons? Yes. Oh, do you fancy a bite to eat? Shall we go and have lunch? I'll pay this time. I can't remember whether it was Livingstone or if it was Shagger. And they said, oh, yeah, how are you getting back? Shall we share a cab? And the other one said, I'll pay for the cab. So they'd gone hammer and tongs, and it was all showbiz. And from that moment, that was when the real cynicism came into my life. And that's when I think I started thinking they were all self-serving pigs. And Sarah Vine, you might not know who she is. She writes to the Daily Mail. She's just done an article about how she's lost all her hair and she wears a wig. Look, that's interesting. Not. She was married to Michael Gove. God, he makes my skin crawl. But listen to what she says in response to what Zia said on Twitter. This is a very sinister thing to say. An ability to engage in civilized debate is vital in democracy. Stuck-up cow. By contrast, this statement shows that Zia Yusuf clearly believes that anyone who does not share his worldview is a sworn enemy. Well, they are, aren't they? Because it's meant to be politics. In other words, he's a fanatic. It's when men like him gain power, listen to this bit, that leads to regimes such as the one in Iran. So she thinks Zia Yusuf saying he doesn't want to talk to people in the green room and have small talk, he's like a mad mullah in Iran. Two things. This woman was married to a man who could have been the leader of the Tory party. He certainly held massive job titles for them. I've always thought he's as slippery as hell. But also she's a columnist on the Daily Mail. I wouldn't pay her in bloody spanners. And then just to prove my point and Zia's point, all of them have come out of the woodwork now. Kay Burley's written something, I can't even be bothered to find it, slagging him off, saying that's not the way to behave. And then have you seen that Matthew Torbert? His claim to fame is he was homeless for a week or two. He's got a big beard. He's always on GB News as one of the token lefties. He said, I always talk to people, words to this effect. I always talk. It's only fair. It's only reasonable. No, it's not, you lick spittle. You're there to represent people who are against, I don't know, whoever it is you're on against. I could never do this. The small talk bullshit really got on my nerves. And the other thing that was worse than this, they often used to say to me, well, Gaunty, what view are you taking? I said, well, I'm taking the view I always take. Oh, okay, then I'll take the opposite view. What? You should say what you believe. And this is the problem. I've said it for years. The relationship between a journalist or a broadcaster and that of a politician should be the same as a dog and a lamppost. We're the dogs. We should piss all over the lamppost. But no, they're all in bed with each other. The classic one, by the way, join in if you want. It's the John Gaunt Show. The classic one is Ed Balls interviewing his wife when she was the Home Secretary on prime time breakfast TV. I'm telling you, it's wrong. And they're playing a game. It's a pantomime. And you are the audience. You're the victims. And that's why no matter who you vote for, the establishment always get in. And they know it. They know it. They're so fucking arrogant. Like today, they were meant to have Farage on. He's ill, so he couldn't do it. Richard Tice did it. But then there's been all this nonsense on social media. Oh, Farage is scared to come on because of what Trump said. Farage is the most honest politician out of all of them. He says what he thinks, and he doesn't really give a shit whether it upsets you. Just like Donald Trump. Just like Donald Trump. That's what's wrong with our politics. They are all too close. They are in bed, metaphorically and literally, with each other. Like that fat Adam Bolton. I told you about him. He ended up marrying Tony Blair's gatekeeper, Angie or Ali Hunter or somebody. They're all too close. They're all too close. This is why you need the independent media. This is why you need broadcasters like me and Dan Wootton and Mike Graham. Even though I don't necessarily agree with everything they say, at least they're giving their truth. These mob who are on telly couldn't give you their truth if they got smacked in the teeth with it. They're all stinking careerists and absolute hypocrites. Absolute hypocrites. And that Matthew guy, right? He sometimes puts up tweets saying, oh, I'll be on Times Radio at 6:30 this morning. Then I'm going across town to be on GB News. And then I'm on Jeremy Vile at lunchtime. He's making a living out of it. And he doesn't even say anything that interesting. He's got one thing to say. Oh, he used to be homeless. Oh, and he's going out with some bird who's in Miss World or something. What? These people are just on a circuit. It's a bit like the Better Music Mix on radio. You can just go from one station to the other and they're just one guest ahead. No wonder I don't get on anymore because I don't play the game. I don't also like the thing where they pre-interview you so there's no surprises. So I've watched MPs laugh at voters in green rooms for over 30 years, then walk on camera and pretend to care about you. But I'm telling you, I'm asking whether politics is just showbiz for ugly people. And if that offends you, good, because it should. I've already had people on Twitter slagging me like crazy. But this has got to be said. It's a pantomime. Look at Jenrick. Look at the defection of Jenrick. Why isn't people saying, I don't believe a bloody word he says? He was a Remainer. He slagged off Farage in about. Now, maybe he has changed. Maybe he's St. Paul. He's been on that road to Damascus and he's had a massive turnaround. Time will tell. But I'll bet you £1 to €1 he hasn't changed at all. Look at the expenses culture and the way they got exposed. And they were all at it. It's betrayal. It's betrayal. They are just looking after themselves. Look at the way they've tried to wreck pubs. And they've got subsidised bars and food where they can even smoke in the House of Commons. What, they represent you? They work for you? You don't believe that, do you? So I'm also asking, why do they all end up the same? Why does nothing ever change? And in a moment, I'll give you the results of my highly sensitive poll and scientific poll. It's not at all. It's just on Twitter or X and it's on Facebook. But it's interesting. But let me tell you what these people are like when the cameras are off. I'll tell you exactly what they're like. They're almost shagging each other in the green room. It's all polite chit-chat. It's all gossip. Oh, who do you think the Labour were? Oh, I couldn't possibly tell you. Yeah, but that's because you don't know. They sit there joking and laughing together. But then they go on air and they pretend they hate each other. Then you got the producers. Let me tell you about this as well. They come out with their clipboards with their questions they're going to give Laura or Alan Titchmarsh or question. Do you know what? It's the same whether it's the Alan Titchmarsh show or it's Laura Kunsberg. The system works the same. They pre-interview you. So the producers treat you. I'm a political guest, right? And I am talented, of course. But they treat these MPs and these so-called political pundits as if they're talent, not representatives of you. It's all an act. It's all a complete act. And no surprise that, as Zia said earlier in his tweet, that the BBC are complicit in this. And this is the way they have controlled the political agenda for years. This is why they're so upset about the internet. This is why they want to run Elon Musk out of town. This is why they don't like Trump when he said, if you want to come to my press conferences, you can come. And they'll go on for as long as they need to. This is why even Starmer now is getting rid of the lobby briefing, so let other people in. Well, he'll still tightly control it, but that's what's going on. It was all a cozy club. Let me just tell you, though, when they broke the expenses story, you do know it wasn't any press or BBC people who work in Parliament. No, because they wouldn't want to stitch up their best mates, their lovers, their closet lovers, would they? No. So it was outside journalists. The whole thing, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use this word, the whole thing is bloody corrupt. And that's why they don't like Farage. That's why they don't like Reform UK. That's why they don't like people like, what's his name, Lee Anderson. And that's why they don't like GB News. But I'm noticing, I'm going to have to say it, GB News is falling into the same trap. Why does Emma Freud get on loads of telly programs? Why does Matthew with the beard get on loads? Why do they go from studio to studio? Why don't you find some new people? Or dare I say it, some old people? So, before I go any further, I do want your verdict. So let me tell you about the poll results. Before I just came on air, basically the question was, are they all self-serving pigs? And I want your views on that now. The majority of people, about 60%, said yes. Right? 2%, 1% said no. So then you say, well, where's the others lot, John? So, well, that was, is it just some of them? And that was 30-odd%. So most people think they are all corrupt, or a significant amount are. Nobody was voting saying, yes, they are great people serving us, working for us. Because we know they're not, which is why they don't understand. And you notice this isn't even party political, really. But none of the uni party, the Lib Dems, the Tories, or indeed Labour, understand just how tough things are at the moment with the cost of living crisis. Why do they need to? They're running two houses, one of which is completely paid for by you mugs. So they've got this cozy culture. As Zia says today from Reform, it's a false opposition. It's the same little social circles. They all mix in. They probably got the same little coffee shops they go to. Well, I know this. There's an Indian restaurant in Westminster. Can't remember what it's called now. Dead posh. You go in there and there's loads of Labour and Tories having a curry at lunchtime. I'm always suspicious of people who eat curry before they've had 6 pints anyway, but that's a separate issue. They don't hate each other, but they do hate you interfering with their cozy lifestyle. They don't hate each other. They hate you interfering with the system. So democracy has become fake, in my opinion. Let's take some of your views, and then we'll come back to my opinion of it. But I want your views now. So are you ready? Start firing away. Let's get started. Good afternoon, Gaunty. Nice to be able to join you. Yes, they are total pigs, says Jake on Facebook. Don't hold back, Jake. I'm not so sure about Farage now after taking in Tories that campaigned against us for years. Well, that's my worry. But out of all of them, he's the best one. I think our system of democracy is a weakness. I'd prefer them to sign contracts, and only those with necessary experience should get the roles. And in kitchen news, he always tells me what he's cooking on a Sunday. I'm making a roast chicken with, yes, homemade Yorkies, although I'm back on keto and all the trimming. Well, you can't be on keto if you're having Yorkshire pudding, you plonker. But good luck with it, my friend. We're having chicken today. Lisa's making, I don't have the roast. I'm having it with salad, but that's something different. Option for yes should have just been oink, oink instead. That's quite good. Thank you. So you can still take part in my poll. It's up on Twitter. It's up on Facebook. But let's have your views as well. Self-centered, looking after himself. He'll desert Reform to save his job. They should have had a by-election, says Ronnie Hurst. He's obviously talking about Jenrick. Well, I agree with you, Ronnie. I agree with you. Any MP who changes party, they should have a by-election. I don't care what it costs, because it's about democracy. When people voted for him, they voted for him as a Tory. And I'd say that whatever party was joining, as it is, I'm mostly in favour of reform, as you know. But even so, there should be a by-election. This is Hermit on YouTube. Reeves and Farage are also going to Davos this year. More red flags than a Valentine's parade. Exactly. I've given up, John, to be honest. We can't trust any one of them. They're all two-faced. More faces than Big Ben. It's all BS, says David KT. I seem to have hit a nerve with this one, don't I? Are they all self-serving pigs? Will reform slim down the civil service? Or will it be business as usual, says Nigel Parker on YouTube? Well, that's a good question, because they have to. But to do that, to take on the swamp, as Donald Trump found out in his first term, is very difficult. And it will be just as difficult here, which is why they argue they need some experienced MPs or lords to swap sides to help with that. I'm not sure I necessarily agree. No, just the London Guffey ones, says Anne-Marie Hosey. What, you think other MPs aren't like that? What about the MP for Stratford, who fiddled his expenses so he could heat up his stables? The one who's just joined Reform. So, Anna, I think you need to think that through a little bit. British J. Leno, says Stuart8791. Who is? What does that mean? I haven't got a clue what that means. I know who Jay Leno is, but I haven't got a clue what you're trying to say. Utter BS. Farage has more flip-flop than Brighton Beach. Look at his comments on the jab. Well, there's no flip-flop. And why are you still going on about the jab? You grow up, you child. He hasn't flip-flopped. He changed his opinion. And you know what? That's a sign of maturity. He just said, well, I found out more and I now think this. If he then changed back to condemning it, yes, I could see your point. But sometimes engage your brain before you engage with Gaunty. Otherwise, you just look stupid. Agree. They all tickle each other's backsides, says Annette Locke. Especially you. Anyway, shush. Are you talking about Matthew Stadlen on GB News? No, I wasn't, but I could have done. No, I'm talking about the other one, the Matthew who's the lefty. But they're both as bad as each other. Matthew Stadlen says he hates everything about GB News. Michael Crick's the same, but I know how much they're getting paid. They're picking up 250 notes, at least, for doing those 15-minute bits, what they do with Bev and Andrew or whoever they're on with, right? Peanuts. Well, peanuts in terms of what they could earn to presenting the shows. But they go from one studio to the next. So you do 3 or 4 of those a day, you're picking up $750, $1,000 a day. Let's have different voices. Matthew Stadlen, he has got some interesting things to say, but most of the time, he's bullshit. But I remember him when he was one of the lads, one of the boys, walking around with his clipboard doing the pre-interviews. That's how he knows me. Getting me on programs like, I don't know, Newsnight or Alan Titch, or whatever it is. They're all the same. Doesn't matter which show it is. They all work on the same format because they're all working to the same agenda. You're listening to The John Gaunt Show. This is The John Gaunt Podcast. I'm normally here Monday to Thursday at 6. I always now do a show on Sunday. It's sometimes 2, sometimes 4, depends what the commitments are. Feel free. The best way to know what I'm doing is to go to YouTube and join my channel. It's called John Gaunt TV. The first time you go there, a little pop-up will come up saying, would you like to subscribe? Don't be put off, because normally subscribe means you've got to pay. There's no payment involved, completely free. So if you get the would you like to subscribe, please say yes. That means that you'll be notified every time I'm doing a show. You can also then get access to all of the archive, which is free. So I would love you to do that. I'm trying to build the subscribers numbers. And if you could tell your mates to do it as well, that would be fabulous. If you want to help me out financially, because these are all self-financed, feel free to just click the little $sign and send me whatever you can afford. £2, £5, £10, £50, £100, whatever you want to do. right? It's dead simple. Click the $sign. Or go to www.buymeacoffee.com, all one word, /John Gaunt, and you can donate a coffee or a beer. I think that starts at a $5. You can also donate on Facebook and the rest of it, whichever way you fancy doing it. What do you think about what I've said so far? Ever got the feeling you've been cheated? Because that's what I think's going on. So, good people are being broken. The wrong people are being chosen to represent us. Performance is rewarded, but if you've got principles, you get punished, whichever party you're in. So that's why none of them have got a backbone. They're not interested. They are not interested. And obviously I've hit a nerve because we're getting thousands and thousands of comments. How do we change it? Well, this is where I'm coming to you and your opinions. They get very rich on very small salaries, says Salt and Vinegar. Well, yes, because they get their salary, best part of 90, 100 grand. Then they get their first class travel. Then they get all the expenses. And then they sit on the boards of different companies and they get paid for that as well. And of course, choo-choo, they're all on the gravy train off to the EU. Or if you're the Prime Minister, you get an autobiography that nobody bothers buying, like Boris Johnson, but you get £500,000 up front for it. Once you've become an MP, you're made. And not only that, did you know that once you're an MP, you then get the pension for life, paid up for life, even if you only serve one term? That's nice, isn't it? As well as the subsidised bars, the subsidised travel, subsidised everything. They are living high on the hog. They are pigs, and they're not really interested in you. They've got their noses in the trough. Salt and Vinegar also says, how can a 75k salary make them all millionaires? Well, I think I've kind of just explained. I'm voting for change. Is voting for change an illusion? Is a revolution the only way, says Nigel Parker? I don't know, mate. And I don't know whether reform will turn into... This is why I was concerned about Jenrick. He is a carpetbagger. He's the master of climbing up the greasy pole. I might be proved wrong. And you know what? I hope I am. But I also hope that Siraj, what's his name? Farage, Nigel has got a backbone to just say, no, we're not having this. Let's move on. I remember watching Westminster. How true was that? Well, yes, but not true enough. Can I just say to Salt and Vinegar, it's very good, all the commentary writing, but you're now being a bit selfish because you're just writing comment after comment after comment, and I'm not going to read them all out because that just isn't fair on everybody else who's trying to get on. So you've had a say now. Sit back, watch and listen to what other people say, and then contribute then. We're not here just for your political manifesto. Don't take that the wrong way. You understand where I'm coming from? Yes, 99% are self-serving pigs, and Miss Piggy Angela Rayner is the biggest piggy of all. Well, she might be the next leader of Labour. Yorkies and spuds are for the kiddo. The meat and veg is for yours truly. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm doing keto. Does it matter if I have a cheat day? Yes. You either do it or you don't do it. Dale Brignall says they're all on the gravy train, out for themselves, not the people they represent. It's all wrong. We need new people in politics. I think you make a very good point, Dale, on Facebook. And this is really where I'm coming from. This is why I was so disappointed by Jenrick and his defection and the way they've seemed to have welcomed him in. I noticed Zia, he's still not completely endorsing him. And I'm not sure about Zia Yusuf either. But didn't we want new politics? We don't want rehashed or reheated failed Conservatives, do we? And like Robert Jenrick, he was involved in opening the hotels for asylum seekers. Illegal immigrants. So is he the same? I don't know. What do you think? Why? And let's get back to telly in a minute now and the political farce of these panels. Why are the same faces always on TV? Why are the disasters always discussed but never punished? I'll tell you why. It's because the media doesn't challenge power, really. It just tries to manage the outrage or manufacture a bit of outrage. They don't actually get down to it and put an MP on the spot because, again, they don't want to be nasty to them because they're scared they won't come on again. But now there's so many different platforms. I think you can afford to duff up a few MPs, don't you? So the media, I'm saying they don't challenge power. All of those programs, they just manage outrage. I always remember Rosie saying to me, how can you do this job? Well, it's when I was very successful as well. How can you do this job, Dad? I said, what do you mean? She said, well, you get all worked up one day, and then the next day you get all worked up again. Nothing changes. She says, politics and your show, it's all bollocks. I wasn't very amused, but intellectually, maybe the language wasn't that good, but she's kind of correct, especially in the mainstream. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain things like, for example, the rape gangs. If it wasn't for certain programs, well, yeah, but it's not really the mainstream, is it? The pressure wouldn't have been kept on. Post office is another one, I guess. But we've got to be careful if we're in the media that we don't get above ourselves. I think I was guilty of that when I was on talk radio. I thought we could change the world. I have trouble changing my socks some days now. So maybe it isn't, are all MPs self-centered, self-serving pigs? Maybe the real question is, why are we all pretending that this system works? Because it doesn't, does it? Our politics is not working. We don't get real change. We don't. Maybe you do trust your local MP. Tell me if you've got a good local MP. We had one in Coventry once called Dave Nellis. He was a right socialist. Only took the wage of a skilled toolmaker. Are you listening, Starmer? And I thought a lot of that was kind of performative and the rest of it. But when somebody had a problem, he took it on for them. I'm not sure there's many MPs like him. And he was Labour, obviously. Do you still vote? Or have you given up voting? Because we're all getting our knickers in a twist about these elections being cancelled, but hardly anyone votes in local elections. And what should public service really mean? Should they not be allowed to have other jobs? What do you think? Do you think MPs should be allowed to have other jobs? Let's finish with this thought. I'm going to come back to your views now. If politics is performance, then the only power left is when we, the audience, stop applauding. Like seals at one of those aquariums, we applaud so they chuck us another fish. It's crap, isn't it? It's not right, is it? It's not fair, is it? Is it even democracy? Leanne Teal says, I'd have some interesting things to say for a grander day, Gaunty, but I'd get a visit from the Starmer police. Very good indeed. This salt and vinegar guy doesn't give up. Look, now he's so important. I have to go, but I'd advise buying a couple of gold coins or silver in case the currency gets fried. Was better when they was unpaid as MPs. They weren't so easily controlled then. Yeah, but the problem with that, Pooh Bear 2025, on YouTube is you only get one class of people. I don't want to go back to that system. We need people. We do need the sons of tool makers to be able to become prime ministers as well, don't we? If you follow what I'm saying. Neil Pike says, new people, get rid of the professional wankers. I think you meant, what? Oh, maybe I've spelt it right. I don't know. I think you're right. It's a shame that reform failed to get on and to actually succeed. They're going to need to have some of these establishment figures. We've got a good local Lib Dem MP in Dorking. I'm not a Lib Dem voter, never have been, but he does try his best. Thank you very much, Gary. What's his name? Do you know? There's a question. People are voting to put in place the most evilest of cults in position in history. Who's that then, Paul? Why don't you say what you mean? Are you talking about reform? Are you talking about Labour? What are you talking about? I don't quite understand. See, because you've had this thought in your mind and you think I'm on your wavelength. Well, I'm a radio presenter and talk presenter. I'm not a bloody Mystic Meg. Anyway, anybody else got anything to say before I go? I'll take a few more comments. But I want you to think about what I've said. I want you to think about what I've said. Because you are being conned. And the TV is complicit. And then today, all these thoughts collided. Because I got up early on a Sunday because I wanted to see Nigel Farage. And I was disappointed when he wasn't on. And then we have this whole fiasco go on. And the way they're talking now about Trump and will he invade and can we stop it? It's just it's not going to happen. None of it. None of it. So people say, what's your opinion? Do you support him? I haven't got an opinion yet because to me it all sounds, it's all like Fantasy Island. The birds, the planes. It's all rubbish. Gary Munner has come back and telling me who it is. Sorry, it's Chris Coghlan, says Gary Munnery, his local MP. Thank you very much. Never heard of him, but there we are. Jackie Ward says, my local MP, Richard Fuller, is very good. He's very proactive and is always trying to help people with their various situations. That's good to hear. He is Conservative, but I'm afraid I'm voting for party, not the individual. So he'll not get my vote next time unless he too defects to Reform UK. Jackie, I think a lot of people might think like you at the moment. And that's why I say there must always be a by-election. Because what Robert Jenrick has done, he's gone from being a Conservative to joining Reform. Do the public not have a right? Do they not have a right to say, well, I don't want to support you now? Let's have a by-election. Phil Daniel, let's see what he has to say. Perhaps we should bang some pans, I like this, outside our houses on a Thursday if we support our local MP. I don't think there'd be many banging of pans for our Zara Sultana here in Coventry. I'd like to bang a frying pan over her head. I only mean that in a kind of Vic Reeves, Bob, not Vic Reeves. Who was it? It was the other two, wasn't it? Rick Mail. I don't mean literally. I'm not talking about violence against a sitting MP. The MP for Foswell Road, of course, and the Gaza Strip. Nice one, though, Phil. Let's all stand outside. Let's all stand outside and bang a tin. I can't believe this. I'm now getting religious nutcases. Jesus died to pay the price for our sins and rose again, offering eternal life to those who believe in him. Thank you. Takes all sorts. Great result against Leicester yesterday, says David KT. He's a Coventry boy. You're right. We showed those ducks to get back down to Leicester. We played brilliantly, didn't we? First half, we were rubbish. Second half, brilliant. And it was great for Coventry City to get a win. Play up, Sky Blues. Okay, that's me done. No donations. Thank you for being so generous. I'll be selling the big issue outside Primark in Coventry City Centre tomorrow. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, big issue. Unless you want to donate something on www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt, or alternatively, please just click the $sign and send me a reward there as well. Well, I enjoyed that. I hope it got you thinking. But don't ever let your blood pressure get up too much if you're watching talk or you're listening to talk radio, or you're listening to LBC, or you're watching GB News. Because it's all false. It's all false. And they're playing you for mugs. Because all of those arseholes, honourable members, all 650 of the however many there are, they're all mates. They're all in the cosy club. Not the club that we're in. Wondering whether we can afford to heat the house or indeed have meat on the table. Talking of which, I'm having a chicken. Jackie Ward's given me 3 red hearts. That means I can go. Thank you very much indeed for joining in. I'll be back Monday at 6. That's tomorrow. If you want to join in then. If you've not looked at all the whole archive, please do. Join John Gaunt or subscribe to John Gaunt TV on YouTube. You can do that. Dead simple. Send the link to all your mates, get them to join as well. And then, watch or listen to some of the old ones. Thanks indeed for joining in today. If you're watching on replay, thanks as well. I'll see you on Monday at 6. Until then, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. See ya.